Support Pro Play Games on Patreon.
Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy DannyG from PPG coming to you with one of the best decks of the meta right now. It is Security Control. There's a little twist to it, guys. I'm not running the regular yellow base. I just don't think yellow base can effectively perform in this meta with Black War Greymon running around and all these tamer hates going around. So we're running a purple base, guys, and let's get into it. Let's start off with our eggs, guys, our level 2s. We're running, of course, the 4 Demi-Meras. Demi-Mera is just going to be an effective draw and discard, because you want a lot of cards to be moved around, a lot of pieces to be moved around with a lot of graveyard recursion. So Demi-Mera is perfect to get cards out of your hand and get cards into your hand. So we're running that, of course, as our only 4 eggs. With Security Control, the games don't really last as long as you think, in the sense of you promoting rookies, since you don't run a lot of rookies. So it's perfect just to have the 4, just effective as much as you need it. Now we're coming into our level 3s. We run a small level 3 package, guys. We only run 3 Electmons. Electmon is perfect for the Hydramon matchup, and it's good to get rid of a lot of annoying things that will prevent you from gaining memory and all these floodgates. So we're running Electmon at 3, perfect for a lot of the cards that will just hinder you from making all these big plays. And then our surprising, we're running 1 Lucemon, guys. Lucemon is very multi-purpose in the deck. You can bring it back with a lot of creatures you have in the deck, like Ophanimon Fallen mode. With the on deletions, you can recover 1 off that. You could Digivolve Lucemon in Chaos mode on top of it for a 7 cost deletion, and then obviously it's just a 5 cost heal, guys. So Lucemon is super good in the deck at 1. Might even put it at 2, because this card is just super good with all the different uses it can have. Next, let's go on to our level 5s. We run no level 4s in the deck. Obviously, you want to have as much space for options as possible, because that's what the deck does. Of course, our standard 4 Magna Angemon, guys. This card is just perfect on play. Heal 1, 7 drop, and you could bounce it off with Flame Hell Scythe. So this card is just super nasty once you get that ball rolling with that option card. And if you can, so we run yellow TKs to search grave. So if you see a Flame Hell Scythe, and you can Demi-Mera the Magna into your trash to make that card more effective, you should. So that's a big combo play with Magna Angemon as well. It's just perfectly standard, perfectly good. Gotta love this card. It is certainly a staple in the deck. Next, for level 5s, we have May Crackmon Vicious mode, also super double purpose, triple, quadruple purpose. So it helps get rid of a lot of rookies, helps you get cards into your trash. It is a dual color, so you could go into multiple level 6s on it, and then if you go Fani on it, or if you go level 6 into Death X on it, on deletion, if your opponent gets rid of it, they have to deal with losing 2 memory on top of it as well. So Make Crack has a lot of different purposes. You could also Flame Hell Scythe it out, so -6, and then you could discard for minus another 3, so -9k. So Make Crack is just super good, and it's only 6 drop, so it doesn't hurt that bad if you're at 3 to summon Make Crack. So you run it at 3, really good level 5 to have in the deck. Then for our last level 5, we're playing 2 Lucemon Chaos modes. Lucemon Chaos mode is super good. You could bring it back off a Dead or Alive, which you also can use on Make Crack. Lucemon, you could Digivolve on your Lucemon just to pop something for 7, instead of it being super high cost to play it on the board. When you do bring it out, you could delete a level 6 or lower, or you could delete a tamer. With a lot of different tamers in the meta, this is good counter to that, especially with some crosses still out here. You want to delete their main tamers that help them achieve Crossheart. So it's perfect for the meta right now. 2 is perfectly good. You want to use your Demi-Meras to discard this to trash as soon as you see them. That way Dead or Lives or any other card can be as effective for Chaos mode. One of my favorite cards for sure. Next, let's get into our level 6, guys. Level 6 is right here. Let's start off with one of the best level 6s in the game, Ophanimon Fall Down Mode. Ophanimon Fall Down Mode, if you digivolve it over a yellow, it will give you recovery +1. If you digivolve it over a purple, you can delete one of your opponent's level 4 and lower. This is where Maycrack also comes into a heavy play, where you could activate both these effects. Going into Magna Angemon gives you an extra heal, and then on deletion you could bring back Lucemon if it is in your trash, which Demimera and other discard cards come heavy into play to letting you achieve that. So an on deletion heal 1 is just absolutely insane for Ophanimon Fall Down Mode, and it's just such a threat on board, just because of all the different things she can come into play with. So at 3 is perfectly fine. She can go over any of your creatures because it's purple or yellow. So Ophanimon just absolutely nasty in this deck, just because of all the purposes that she contributes to the deck. Next, one of the most annoying floodgates in the game, Venusmon. Venusmon just shuts down boards, especially against Jesmon and other decks that naturally have security +1 and just rely on when digivolving effects. Such a nice floodgate to have consistently, just to minus security 1 and all these other things, and it targets opponent's Digimon for the turn. So it's just a good opponent target as well. You gotta love Venusmon. It's just such a good card to floodgate your opponent down with. So we're running it at 2 just because there are some decks that don't really gain any negative side effects from it. You rather have Ophanimon more in the game than Venusmon, but Venusmon is a really good floodgate for a lot of decks. Next, our last 2 level 6s, we're going with Junimon and Avenged Kid. They kind of play off each other. Junimon does a lot of good, especially against like Examon that would prevent destruction. So Junimon's like a good bait whenever they force you to attack, swing retaliation. They either block and restand, and they have to evade the retaliation, and then you could go in for the kill during your turn with a kill spell. You also get a lot of recursion off your trash. Junimon's really good. People mainly use Junimon to get back Avenged Kid to maintain your game a little longer with the trash recursion to your deck. And Avenged Kid, obviously, you could also pop something if you have a certain amount. So Avenged Kid is super good, just as an extra deletion plus recursor. So they're both really good in the multi-purpose. Junimon goes over your yellow or purple, so she goes over everything. Then you can go Defex on top of Juno after she's been used up in the purpose of what she does. So it's really good combo. Level 6s here, really good for the deck in the sense of just multiple purposes, guys. With security control, you just want to have cards that have multi-purposes that can bounce off each other. You don't want to have one-trick combos with security control, because your opponent will just eat it up and win the game against you. Next, 2 Defex. Defex obviously is the meta maker. Defex can make any deck super meta. It's just broken. There's a lot, especially with a lot of tamers being used in game today. It just comes out basically for free. Usually the main amount of memory that it comes out for is 5. That seems to be the average out memory that it comes out for. But it de-digivolve is 1. So it gets rid of a lot of tricky cards that have all these inheritables that protect it. So the Digivolve 1 will just tear into any card and then just delete any level 4 lowers. If your opponent leaves out a level 5, usually it will stay around your turn, so then you could just kill spell it if it's like a really annoying Digimon to get rid of because of those inheritables. And then it's just consistently a floodgate where it will delete anything with the lowest play cost. So Death X, if you can manage 2 of them on board, it's just your opponent just scoops. So Death X is just absolutely a threat. You could digivolve them on any of your purple level 6s, which is basically all of them except your Magna your Magna Kid, so Death X coming out for 6 as well early game, just absolute threat. So you're running it at 2, and then 15k insecurity as well, really big threat. That's it for our Digimon, guys. Let's get to our tamers. Since we don't run a yellow base, we have a lot of room to play with our security and tamers. A lot of your Digimon are yellow, and then when it comes to your purple tamers, they're usually 2 cost. So Black Wargrave just deletes it way too easily, and then if you can't play purple option cards that are specifically your Chaos Degradades, your Flame Hell Scythes, you lose the game. So that's a big reason why I like the purple base better than yellow. Yellow is just like you have to delete one of my tamers, not both. So we're gonna start off with our yellow tamer package with a very short package. We'll start off with 2 Kari. Kari is very straightforward. Whenever you heal on your turn, you tap it, gain 1 memory. So it helps a lot of plays to stay within your turn. So you can do a lot of other plays to you wanna in your turn with, and it puts you to 3, which is very necessary for a lot of things. You just don't want your opponent to choke you out with security control, since you already have to play a lot of heavy option cards for the game. So we're running 2 Karis. Next we're running 2 TK Karis. It puts your opponent in a tough position, obviously, since you would gain 2 memory if you have fewer security than them. Mostly with this deck, you're gonna have a lot of healing, so you're gonna be at a higher position than them. But if your opponent actually wants to push that threshold, puts them in a weird spot, because now you're getting more memory when you're in a tougher situation, so you have more room to play with. So you want to have it at 2, just because it's only useful in late game, not in early game. It's good as a color source as well. And if you attack with a yellow Digimon, you just minus an extra 1. So it's a good multi-purpose if you're gonna swing with Magna Angemon and somehow Flame Hell Scythe, bring out Maycrack, so it's like minus 10. If you have both, it's minus 11. Really good combos you can come up with this, but this is mostly to put your opponent in a bad situation with the game too. Last tamers on the block is TK Takayashi. So TK, very tricky tamer, right? If it comes down to it, and you have 2 security, and you only have a purple in there, it could mean lethal. But TK, it gives you information in your security. So play this early game. You know how kind of you want to play around in the early game. If you have a lot of kill spells, a lot of good security option cards, you have a little bit more freeway, just in the sense that you know that you have a safer position. You can kind of play a little recklessly. If you look at your security and you have a lot of duds in there, you know you have to play a little safer, more conservative. You have to recover more to get those options in there. So TK is really good for information, which, you know, a lot of times you don't want to be shooting at the dark hoping that your security is perfect. You kind of want to know what game style you have to go into, especially against a lot of threat decks that stun your security, and a lot of threat decks that huge creatures. You want to know kind of where you stand so you can play around them. So TK is really good because of the information aspect of the card. Lastly, everyone's favorite part. Look at that, half of the deck. We're running around 23 option cards, and let's go over all these beautiful option cards that we're playing in the deck, because that's what the deck consists of. First up, we're going with old reliables. We're going with 4 Flame Hell Scythe. What can I say? Use it to bring out your Magnas to heal more, make cracks. You use that to bring out -9 basically, or you could do dual pops to rookies. Flame Hell Scythe is just absolutely disgusting, especially with the -6 on top of it. Like, if it wasn't bad enough that you just heal from grave or do something else, Flame Hell Scythe has just been such a staple with this deck. Obviously you run it at 4. Obviously another big staple, Chaos Degradate. This is honestly the most broken card in the game, just because the removal is just so flawless, just top or bottom. Insecurity, and if you play it, you wanna essentially put whatever you're Chaos Degrading to the bottom of security to trash anything from the top of their security. It could be tamers, other option cards. You never know what you're gonna trash with this, and you always want to trash the top of their security. So effectively, this will get rid of any problems that may arise later on. Because if you're playing against cross or any other things that rely on tamers, or anything that could sack you back from security, the trashing of the top is just going to be perfect as a control aspect. And the moment you already trash through their security and you know what their security is, you can effectively just go for lethal, knowing that you're going to be safe in the outcome. So Chaos Degradate at 4, just one of the best cards in the game. Next, another staple, of course, we're going to have to go with our 4 Holy Waves. Holy Waves is super annoying in security. Effectively makes your opponent just -1 in the attack, because everything just stays kind of the same, and you kind of add another factor into it because they don't know what you just healed. So it could be another kill spell that can greatly affect them. Holy Wave is just super cheap as well. When it comes to like the healing, it's 6. You go 3. You go 3 to 3, which is very standard. And honestly, the purple base doesn't hinder it. You never want to go Holy Wave first turn. Just give your opponent 6 in this meta. It's very dangerous to just unwillingly give your opponent 6 without knowing how dangerous your security is from the start. You effectively want to use it up later game. You just want to start setting up some small stuff like tamers in the beginning of your game, just to kind of know where you're at and kind of play your opponent off guard. So Holy Wave at 4 is just one of the nastiest cards in the game with that healing at 4. Just such a good card. Next, let's get into our tech spots. After those 12, everything else is essentially up to players. Here's my tech spots. I'm running 2 Wyvern's Breath. Wyvern's Breath, no explanation, -15k, just gets over almost anything in the game. Insecurity as well activates. Such a great card in the meta. -15, get over everything, especially Death X's. And then also can get over some Examons. So Wyvern's Breath, super nasty. Examon will usually be around 16 when it attacks, so it's more effective to play from hand when it comes to the Wyvern's Breath. You always want to Chaos Degradate the Examons just to get them completely out of the game, put your opponent in such a bad situation. Dead or Alive at 2. Dead or Alive, obviously multi-purpose. It's an 8 kill to summon Chaos Mode, which Chaos Mode you can go into other Digimons with. So it's really, really good. You also can bring back Maycrack to just have an effective dual color Digimon on board that you can also use to like go into other better Digimon. So Dead or Alive can be a dud. It also can be an 8-drop summon from Trash Delete, give you a dude. So Dead or Alive has just been super good and super scary in this format. So Dead or Alive at 2, perfect. One of the craziest cards to come out recently, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. it's I'm not even going to try to, but this card is just super insane. Again, multi-purpose. If you're above 3, you -12. If you're under 3, it's basically a Chaos Degradate without the trash, and you only put it on top. But if you're at 3, you activate both, which has come up a few times where I'm at 4 security, hit that, I'm at 3 security, and it's just, your opponent gets super tilted. This card is just, again, multi-purpose, so you gotta love it in the deck. Just because of the when you're under 3, it just becomes an insane card, and -12 is still super essential. It gets over almost any level 6 and lower, so you want to have it at 2. It's perfect to fill in the other 2 spots of the Wyverns, just because like you're basically running at some point 6 Chaos Degradations and again, most broken effects of the game. Alright guys, we're running 3 1-of securities. We're running Calling from the Darkness. Calling from the Darkness will achieve a lot in the game state. You can use it to pop your Fawny to get back Lucamon, heal 1, and then you could go on top with Chaos Mode and just cause a lot of damage to your opponent while healing 1. You can use it obviously again to recur your sources while doing that. Just get stuff back like Death X, and it's just so cheap as well. No wonder they limited it. It's just such an insane card. You gotta love Calling. We're going in with Darkness Wave. Darkness Wave again, resource recursion. Trash 3, which you want certain cards in your security, so it's really perfect. And then you add a card to hand, yellow or purple. So it's just really a flex spot, what you kind of want to add depending on the state of the matchup. But you mostly want to use it for Death X, just to create such a precarious position for your opponent in the game with Death X. Death X again being one of the best cards in the game right now. So Darkness Wave, you have a lot of yellow Digimon consistently in play, so Darkness Wave will usually always pop off. If not, -3 from deck, which also creates a lot of spots for your Magna Kids, a lot of spots for a lot of your Digimon to come back, especially with Flame House Scythe, and lets you thin through the deck, which this deck doesn't have that much draw potential, so a lot of pieces coming from grave to field is essential, and this card helps it happen at 1 cost only. And last card of the deck, obviously we got to go with Reinforced Memory Boost. Again, this card is limited to 1 for a reason. It is a heal and a draw. Your opponent does get to know that information, but at the end of the day, you know, they have to play around it, and you gain 3 memory whenever you want to pop it off. Reinforce is really good for when you need it. You play it at 1 because you only can play it at 1, guys. And that's it for our purple base security control deck profile, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for more content, and stay topping.